Hey guys, it's Leesh, and welcome to another episode of Car Confessions. Guys, as you can see, I'm not in a car. I'm actually in Virginia Beach. There's a way for me to turn my camera around since you're watching it here on YouTube. But let's see. I don't think so. I'm trying to figure it out, guys. But I'll show you guys here. Here at the beach, hanging out, and going for a walk. I like to exercise in the morning. I'm just going to show you more of the beach. Beautiful, right? Super duper gorgeous. And yeah, I like moving my body. That's something that's like really important to me because I have multiple sclerosis. Many of y'all know that. And one thing I do is try to incorporate movement into my daily life. So my movement today, I walked yesterday morning as well, which was great. I like to just stay as active as possible. And listen, for those of us who have, certain conditions, like I said, I have MS, whatever, you have to find something that works for you. Then some folks are like, oh, I can't exercise, da da da. And I always tell people, exercise doesn't have to be some type of full blown, Richard Simmons, Jane Fonda type of thing where you're like losing it, Tybo, all that mess that we saw for so many years, just like during the 80s, that whole craze of working out. People just sweat until they can't, even think straight. Like, you don't have to do all that. I mean, you can, and listen, I'm one person who does work out pretty hard normally during the week. But some weeks, like this week, especially during this holiday season, today is actually Thursday, Thanksgiving. You don't have to go completely hard body, but do something. Get yourself out here in the elements and, get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing just that. How are you guys today? Hoping you're doing well. Hopefully, you're with folks that you love or you're with yourself. I think that's even beautiful too. It's just to enjoy your own company. They can forget that we are our own universe, and we can make ourselves happy, or we can be our worst destruction. Seriously, I like to think of myself as my saving grace, my healing place. It's taken me a long time to get to that point to really see myself as that and know that I am enough. Just not myself, just me and Leesh living our life. Um, it's taken me a long time, taking a lot of healing work. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I did what's called. Sorry, that waves got my pants. Uh, I love walking in the water. Not too far into it, obviously. I'm like literally right here. But yeah, depending on where you are, it'll catch you. It's about to catch me now. I love it. It's like my fave. And, this is not a life alert. This is my AirPods, just in case you're wondering, like, wait, what's around in that? Are you not telling us something? No. It's the old AirPods. There's a lot again. Yeah, it's taken me on 47 years, 47 years, and I'm realizing more and more how much I love being with myself. I'm not like a hermit type of person. I really enjoy myself. Like, who I am, I'm learning to accept, my little thing of imperfections and my the darkness of who I am, the light of who I am, all of me. That's just me. That's what makes me me. It's not perfect. It is what it is. You know. So yeah, that's been a beautiful thing for me is recognizing that and understanding that if I didn't have all those things that were that make me who I am, I would be a pretty basic, monotone type of individual. I think that's one thing, at least for me, I've realized that's so important. It's just accepting me, like all of me, and not trying to hide or, create some other type of narrative about who I am. Thank God, because the napkins. Yeah, you can never have enough of them. And I'm realizing more and more in my age how important we have my little napkins are. My nose done a little bit. My napkins, praise the Lord. And it's like my wife was telling me about having my napkins and things like that. But that's part of who I am. It's something that I find value in is having my napkins. Simple things, guys. Simple things. Seriously. And make up who I am. I hope I asked you, but how are you doing? Hoping you're well. Hoping life is treating you well. I'm really blessed. I was actually seeing and I was posting something on social media earlier talking about, just being fortunate to be able to celebrate the holidays in such a manner here we're in Virginia Beach. And beautiful, really beautiful place. And it's funny because, I didn't grow up around the beach. I grew up in Indiana. And the closest thing we had to the beach was the Ohio River. So we would go down there. My mom she loves the water. My mom is cat. For those who don't know, but it's just a favorite place to be. Makes me a little emotional thinking about that because if there's any place she would be right now, would be right here. And I can feel that. I can feel her with me. I'm just grateful. Oh, need the napkin again. Thank God for the napkin. If there was anything or anywhere that my mom would want to be, would be right here. Just around water. She loves the ocean. She loves traveling. Time more and more, this is my happy place. Just being around water. Being around water. Peaceful, mysterious, the dangerous place it can be, the place that you have to reverence. The water is, it's all those things. It's beautiful, it's calm, it's powerful. Something you can't play with, you can't take it for granted. And I think my mom knew that. And that's what brought so much peace, so much calm. Because, like me, I'm a lot like my mom. I'm very powerful person. I know that. Very powerful person. Uh, and for a long time, I didn't want to accept that. Because I thought I'm me being cocky. Like, oh, you're so powerful. But I know that about me. I know that I'm a very impactful person. I influence a lot of what happens around me. And my mom was the same way. Very driven. The natural born leader. Uh, and with that, there's beauty in it. And at the same time, there's a lot of responsibility and accountability that sometimes people aren't able to take on. And I know that. I know that. I know it's hard. And everybody's in space to do that. But for me, I've accepted it, and I take on that responsibility. Like I said, very humbly. And it's not like, oh, I'm this leader. I'm going to lead. No, being a leader is you being of service and having the strength to do so. And that kind of like leads me to like thinking about this country. It's like a lot of leaders have missed the mark because being a leader is not you just being some dictator and pointing to this and you do that and do that, blah blah blah. Yeah, you have to have direction, and give directives. Like I said, all that is done by way of you knowing that what you're doing, your direction and your directives are for the greater good of the people that you serve. And that's always been my hope, even in my work of service, to who I am as a person, is to lead in a way that truly provides um, empowerment for those that are around me. I want to be of service. I want to be someone that helps folks that are around me. I always say I want to be a blessing and not a burden. And I hope that for all of us, want to lead in that way, to be a blessing and not a burden. And really provide, like I said, that light and love to those that are around us. It's not always easy, but we do the best we can. We find ways to work with those that are difficult. I know a lot of people you can take these like, oh God, some people I deal with are so difficult. How can I do blah blah blah? Trust me, I hear you. Not everybody that's around us. Another lesson that we have to learn too is that like even though folks are in our world, we have to know that certain people you can give them the message and then it's their responsibility. That's another thing about being a leader is that you can't constantly try to push and drive and bulldoze people over with information. You have the information, you share it with them, and it's for them to either take it or not. There's only so much you can do because you'll drive yourself crazy in the message and the leadership that you're trying to offer for those that really need it. They might miss it because you're trying so hard to reach out to people who are clearly not trying to take it in. So, yeah, do the best you can. That's what I'm constantly trying to do, is do the best I can and be the best I can be. Not always easy. I'm not perfect. God knows not. But like I said, I just do my best and try to lead with light and love the best way I know how to. This water is gorgeous. I'm not gonna see it. If you were here, you'd be chilling, walking on the beach, y'all. When you're walking on the beach with me anyway, right? Chilling, through a leash, very unconventional car concession. But hey, it's a nice car concession. It's relaxing. Not in New York City streets, you know what I'm saying? Honking and beeping at people, trying to figure out if they're gonna like run in the middle of the road or someone's driving crazy. It's just me and nature, which I love. I'm a Taurus, so Earth sign. This is our element, being in the middle of nowhere, being on the beach, and being one with nature. That's pretty much my MO. I love it. Even though I love living in New York City is there's nothing like Just to be honest. But this too, right here, you can't put a find something in somewhere like this. It's gorgeous. Oh, there goes the water now. See, love it. Yeah, guys. Just, I'm grateful. Like I said, today is Thanksgiving for the holiday that we celebrate. Being thankful. I don't celebrate the origins of this holiday. God knows I don't. But what I do know is I'm just grateful for friends and family, grateful for my life and all the beautiful things that I've been able to do and that I continue to do what I'm doing right now, which is walking and talking with y'all. Super grateful for that. I pray that we all find whatever peace that we so desire in this life, you know? Because if it's possible, you know, it's possible to find peace and joy that you find within yourself. Yeah, some people are like, oh, nothing easier said than done, da da da. And I challenge that, you know. Say, anyone has the ability to change their environment, to change their situation. I'm actually gonna turn around, start heading back. I walked away because I wanted to walk down the other way anyway. But yeah, have the ability to create change in your life. You know, I always tell people if you're an adult that's in sound mind and ability to get around and move and be. You know what I'm saying? If you have the ability to move, like walk, your mind is sound. You have at least $2 or $3, and I'm being so serious. You can change your circumstances. Even without $2 or $3, you can change your circumstances. We are powerful beings, and I always encourage people to take on that power, to really hone into it, and know that you're powerful, regardless of what your current situation is. You are powerful enough to change your circumstances. I always tell people after I had my daughter, even before I had my daughter, I mean, I was broke in all caps. In my mind, I thought I was broke. You know, maxing out credit cards just to get myself. Uh, and I barely got that credit card. What happened was, I mean, this was divine intervention. I had the vision of what I wanted to do, and things fell into place. And it wasn't like what we would consider picture perfect, but it worked out. Um, I had to move from New York after I had my daughter because I just at the time I was not in place to understand the power of who I was, and I needed support too. To be honest, we always need support. It's another thing. Just don't think that you can do everything by yourself. People are around for that reason to help support you. But anyway, I had to move back to Evansville, Indiana, where I'm originally from. My mom was still alive. Thank God for my mom, my support. Um, I moved back, but the process of me moving back, rather, I didn't have any money. And randomly, a week or so before I was going to move, I applied for this credit card. Oh my God. You know, if you give me this credit card, that'll be enough money for me to get back home and then start my life over, really kind of get my life together. And I got approved for the credit card, and God knows, on technical terms, I probably shouldn't have been approved at all for that damn credit card. Let's be serious, but it happened, thank God. And it got me back home to start the life that I now live. Went back to nursing school in Evansville, got my bachelor's there. Then I moved back to New York, and from there I got 2 masters and a doctorate. And I'm telling you, I was took all my little belongings, everything I had, rented a car with the credit card I got, and like I said, moved back home beyond humble beginnings. And even in the midst of me getting my nursing degree, diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, had a teacher telling me that I should just quit nursing school and consider it later on once I was feeling better. And I was like, no, I got to keep going. Something in me said you can do it. And even though I felt like I couldn't, but I kept going. And then, as life has progressed, I realized more and more how powerful I am just by the different choices that I've made in this life that were super scary. That's if I can think it, and that's for anybody, if you can think it and dream it, and envision yourself doing it, you can do it. I truly believe in that. If you can see yourself doing something, that's not going to happen instantly, but just trust the process, trust the journey, because it's all about the journey. It's not so much about the end point. Even though you hear that so much, you're like blah blah blah, but it's the truth. Getting to that point is like wow, that whole journey. Wow, look at all the things that I was able to do. Right? It's like man, I'm an awesome person. It's like and think of it that way. It's like yeah, there are gonna be roadblocks and trials and tribulations. There's gonna be all kind of mess. But that stuff is just there to continue to refine you, to make you better for the next thing that comes along. Because shit doesn't stop. Life is not like that. It's not like, oh, you get to the mountaintop and then you're at the mountaintop. No. There's mountaintops, there's valleys, there's damn pits where you feel like you're in the damn pits of hell. Let's be serious. But through it all, we're able to thrive and it's not supposed to always thrive, but just make it. And the hope is to thrive in the midst of it in some ways. Yeah, I get to say thrive, yeah. I feel like I'm thriving, even though the world feels like it's falling apart. I still feel like I'm thriving, and I encourage you to do that too. It's so interesting when I think about this time that we're living in. And so many people talk about the Great Depression, and we think about the Great Depression, and we think about that time and how folks are struggling. But we have to also remember during the Great Depression was the Harlem Renaissance. And a lot of people don't put those two together. They don't think about it like putting the pieces together. And it's like we can thrive in the midst of tragedy, in the midst of hardship. We can thrive. And I feel like, especially as Black folks, we know how to thrive in the midst of hard times. We know how to make things that look a hot mess beautiful. Seriously, like if you want to talk to folks who can really make some stuff look beautiful, make shit taste good, that's like the scrappings of what people would think is the bottom of the barrel. Talk to Black people. We know how to do it. We really do. We really do. Guys, I'm going to hang this up so I'm going to enjoy some time to myself. But I love y'all. Hopefully you're having a great holiday season and you're not out here doing all the superficial things like purchasing all these things. That's bullcrap, in my opinion. Hopefully you're just taking time to enjoy the beauty of the people around you or just the beauty of the things that you have, that you already have. Be thankful for that. And just continue to do and be your best self. And continue to love yourself or start loving yourself and realizing how beautiful and powerful you are just as you are right now. There's nothing that you really need to fix. You're amazing just as you are. All right, guys. I love you. Like I always say, let's just keep on keeping on. And hey, I'll see y'all next week. All right. Bye.